Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
Welcome back to the show. We're so excited to have Deborah C. Miller here joining us, our life organizer coach, also first aid CPR instructor. She wears many hats. Welcome back to the show. How are you?
I'm doing great, thanks. It's a cloudy day here, but hopefully it'll get better.
And where are you? Tell our listeners and viewers, please.
I'm in Westfield, Indiana, which is near Indianapolis.
Beautiful. Well, thanks for being here. How can we contact you? Would you mind sharing the website?
Sure, it's lifeorganizercoach.com, and my phone number is 317-399-9905.
Perfect. Well, thank you so much. I know today we're going to talk a little bit about why someone needs coaching. And by the way, you work virtually with people all over, right?
Oh, I do, everywhere. Yep, we do Zoom calls, we do just telephone calls, whatever works for whoever I'm working with. So yes, I can work any place in the United States or even remotely on Zoom. So
Perfect. Well, let's talk. Tell me about coaching and how it can help us focus.
sure. Well, when you go to, for example, when you go to a gym, what's the first thing that happens? You walk in the door and you're overwhelmed. It's just so easy for people to get overwhelmed like that because, there's so many choices and so many things that you can do that make it, it scares you. I don't know about you, but if you've ever been to a gym, you walk in the door and what do you see? The one side of the room has all of the equipment that you might want to use. Let me share my screen here just a minute. I'm going to do that. Here we go. I'm going to share. There. All right. Come on. It's morning. It's
Uh-huh.
yeah.
No problem.
Yeah. So when you go into a gym, the first thing that you see on when you walk in the door is you might see a whole line of elliptical machines and treadmills and all of those kinds of things. And then down the center of the room, you'll see all of these machines with all these weights and settings and all of that kind of thing. And then on the other side of the room will be free weights and all of that. So as you go in the door, the first thing that you feel like is overwhelmed. You may want to know what to do, but you don't know where to start. You don't know what equipment to use. You don't know how process to use. And so I look at coaching for documentation along these same lines because there are so many things for you to gather up and to talk about and to get a handle on that sometimes it's just overwhelming for people. You just don't know what to do, where to start, what to begin with. And typically caregivers they feel overwhelmed. When you've got your own family, you've got your parents, your grandparents, the amount of information and paperwork that you have to manage can be exhausting for people. And so to help organize and to reduce some of that anxiety and stress, I put together coaching programs because you need a goal.
Yeah, true.
Having a goal is really important.
Yeah.
Sometimes you just don't feel like you have enough time to organize and do the things you should do. So that creates stress and anxiety in you. And just by doing a few simple things a day, you can get organized very quickly. So maybe you don't feel like you have the time to devote to doing it. You don't know what to organize. You don't know where to start. And the actual clutter and information and stacks of paperwork and all of that kind of stuff can add to your stress and your anxiety. So just being able to organize and know what to do is really important. So, I put together a couple of coaching packages just kind of to help people figure it all out. So, the one coaching package that I recommend everybody start with is the Paperwork Power Hour. Because what we do is we talk about what you need, what's holding you back, what's your situation. And it's a one-on-one call that helps you get strategies and get started. It's nothing, it's not overwhelming. It's a
Yeah,
conversation that we have.
love
And
it.
I learn about you and you learn about me and we figure it out.
That's the way it goes. I love it. I love it. I love it.
Yeah. And then, if you need more help, I have a master class that I put together, and that's more in-depth training. And we go through all the steps and we do all the strategies. We really work on ways to reduce your stress and anxiety. You get to ask me questions on a regular basis. If you have an email question, you can email it to me and I can respond to it. So it's more personalized coaching and it's a longer period of time. So we get through more things. It might last 5 weeks, depends on what you need. And it's just an hour a week. So it's a master class.
Got
And
it.
then I also have for those folks who own businesses, I have a corporate caregiver workshop package that I can put together where I would come to your business and offer strategies for people in a workshop setting for the organization. And to get all of that kind of information, you just need to go to my lifeorganizercoach.com website. There's a place to sign up for a free 30-minute conversation to see if we're going to be compatible. Sometimes people just don't mix.
Mm-hmm.
And I understand that, and you do too. So, just having that conversation to help people who are caregivers, who, have a lot on their plate, um, to get through the process.
Got it.
So, it's all about my life organizer system. The book is one place to organize all of your information. But even if you don't want to use it and fill it out, it's a great book to go through and help you figure out the categories of things that you need to gather up, the stuff that, the information that's important for you to have.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody will have all of the information, but there's a lot of stuff that most people need to have. And that makes a lot of good information and it's a good resource for people.
Yay. I love it. I love it. I love it. This is amazing. Now, when did you write this book, by the way?
I wrote this book in 2020. Um,
Amazing.
it came about because my husband had a medical emergency and we were an hour and a half, 2 hours away from the hospital where he was here in Indianapolis. We lived in Fort Wayne, so we were north of here. Um, and he was in the hospital for 2.5 months, and I was not able to go home very often. It was like once every 2 or 3 weeks, I would take a weekend and zip up to to my house to get all the bills and all the information that I needed to pay and keep my household going. I hadn't expected that. And
Mm-hmm.
so what I did after that experience, I put it all together in a book form so that I could share that information with my family because I know they needed that information and it just wasn't available. And you say emergencies make you do things you
Oh,
don't
yeah.
you think about. And emergencies happen all the time. It isn't just a natural disaster that we're looking at. It could be as simple as going into the hospital and not coming out for a period of time and realizing the thing you're worrying about stuff at home while you're in the hospital trying to recuperate is really not um it makes your life harder and
Yeah.
you don't need to do that.
Oh,
So So that's what I focus on helping people get their personal and their business organized, paperwork organized so that if something happens, you can grab it and go. Just, take off with it and you don't have to worry about it.
Now we need a safe to keep all our stuff too.
Well, you don't necessarily need it. My favorite way to do to organize information is what I call my grab and go binder. And it's simply a zippered binder that I've filled with sheet protectors, and I just stick tape paperwork inside of it so that if I have to, it's got my bill pay, the utilities that I have to pay, it's got bank account information, it's got all of that and all the passwords and stuff that I need so I can grab my binder and leave if I have to and have it all together with me. And it's simple to do. It's the first step. It's create your grab and go binder. Just organize what you've got.
Now, what's the checklist as TOC?
That is basically the book. If you go through my book, every chapter, every form is your table of contents, the things that you need to use. So having my book and then creating your grab and go binder are the two first things that I would recommend people do.
Perfect. Life organizer coach, if you are just tuning in, continue.
So the other thing that you might want to do as you're getting your paperwork organized, understand that most people, most of the people who need this service are usually people who are elderly or people who don't have time, or they're caregivers of parents and other folks who don't really have the capacity to go through and do everything on their own. They need some additional help. So I help both people who are, caregiving for other people in their families, and they may have one or two households that they have to take care of. Or maybe somebody just has a second home and they're trying to manage those. Around here, we have a lot of people who are what we call snowbirds, and they go to Florida, they go to Arizona, they go other places during the winter months, and they have to take care of both places. So having the information available for both is really important. So the other thing I can do that I help, when I do the coaching and go through it with people, is help them figure out how to store the information where it should go. Because,
wow,
just having it available and having people know about it is one thing, but you don't want it in a way that people who shouldn't have the information get to it.
Mm-hmm.
And because if you put it in a binder like this, you can tuck it behind the furniture, you can stick it in a closet, someplace that it's not out and obvious. The other thing that a lot of my folks do is they scan all of their paperwork onto a thumb drive.
Yes.
And then
smart.
Yes. And the other thing you can do with that too is once you have a smart drive or a thumb drive that has all your information, you can tuck it into your safe deposit box at the bank. You can give it to whoever has your power of attorney for your health care or your financial information, so that they can give it to whoever needs the information when they need it. Or you can just simply, keep it someplace close by so that you know where it's at, and tell people who, if you have kids or somebody who needs to have that information, you can give it to them in an electronic format, which most kids these days want the electronic versions. They don't want the paper. But the other thing you can put on your thumb drives is if you take your phone and you do a video of all the contents of your house. You just walk through your house with your camera on and record what's in your closets, what's in your drawers, things that you want people to have later on after you pass. You can share all of that information on a video and just save it on your thumb drive and have it available for later on if you need it for whatever reason. So,
And let's remind everyone at this time how we can contact you before we continue.
sure. You can go to life.coach at Life Organizer Coach and send me an email. My email or my web address is lifeorganizercoach.com, and my phone number is 317-399-9905.
Perfect.
And my book's available on Amazon.
It sure is. That is fascinating. And life.coach at lifeorganizercoach.com. Don't forget to check her out and pick up a copy. All right. What else do you have in mind for us? Great slideshow, by the way. For those just on the podcast, may not realize we're on the Zoom cast. So it's great to see everything as we go along here. And her number is 317-399-9905.
So when you're looking at, what are some of the things that make it difficult for you to get coaching or to finish up your projects? And that's one of the things is having a goal, setting a goal for yourself for organizing your paperwork and your information. Why are you doing it? Understanding your why is really critical, because if it's just for you, that's one thing. But if you have a purpose for it, for something else, and you have a deadline, those are two critical pieces of actually getting through the process and finishing up. Just like the gym example, how many of us, go to the gym in January and then we don't go until next January because it's too much work. We don't really have a goal in mind for why we're doing it. We just, maybe we just think we need to go to the gym. But having a purpose for doing it and understanding it, the major work of organizing your paperwork happens one time. After that, it's maintenance. It's going through once or twice a year, looking for things that have changed, some, keeping track of information that, purchases that you might have made, those kinds of things. So having, understanding why you're doing it, what's your purpose? Then the next thing you need to know is you need to set some realistic goals. Most of the time when we're setting goals, we have this idea that we're going to get everything done right now. And understanding that if you take it in smaller bites, you can actually accomplish more than if you're just trying to do it in one big setting. Some people are really great about, okay, I'm going to do it in a weekend. I'm going to sit down and I'm going to spend all weekend doing it. And then life happens and we don't get it done, as you can imagine. The other reason for getting coaching is having somebody that's an accountability partner for you. Having somebody who you can report to and say, oh yeah, I didn't get much done this week, but here's the little piece I did get done. And that having to tell somebody that you've done something or haven't done something really does help you to get through the whole process and finish it up. I've had masterminds in businesses in the business world for years, and we call once a week or we call once a month, and we have things that we're supposed to do and report on our success or our challenges of that week. So having an accountability partner also helps you, and I can be that accountability partner as a coach for you, and that helps you to get through the process and get it done. It also improves your productivity when you're trying to do it. I can help you reframe some of the activities that you might be doing in a way that makes you more successful and not worrying about, do you have to spend 20 minutes on one little thing, or can you do it in batches, or how can you organize your information a little bit better? it also helps you as an individual improve your own self-awareness, understanding the impact that you have on other people. Think about it, your life, your household, all
Oh,
of
yeah.
those kind of things really do impact others. And so sometimes we don't realize how much of an impact we make on other people until something happens, and then we're kind of at a loss. So understanding and knowing that your impact on other people will help you develop that process and that goal, and want to get the goal done, because you know that you have an impact on other people's lives.
Hmm.
And the other thing is, we all have ways of doing things. And sometimes the way we do stuff isn't always the easiest way to do it. And so having somebody give you some ideas and some tips on how to organize your information better, how to gather it all up, where to put it, all of those kinds of things, having somebody who can come, give you some ideas outside of your own experience
Mm-hmm.
can make a big difference, especially if you're trying to get organized and you feel overwhelmed. It helps with that anxiety.
So true. I understand. Well, it's wow. It's true. A lot of anxiety, a lot of overwhelm. We got to be organized. Let's get it together. She's here to help us. And by the way, how much is the book, by the way?
The book online is $14.99. It's a bargain.
It really is.
And
And then
I did that because I wanted people to be able to afford to do it, and to really take the time and purchase the book so that they can work on their life, because I know how important it is.
got it. Well, thank you again. And remind us one more time how we could reach you. Unfortunately, we're out of time.
It's life.coach@lifeorganizercoach.com. My phone number is 317-399-9905, and the website is lifeorganizercoach.com.
Perfect. Thank you so much. And looking forward to the next time we get to connect again. Thanks so much for this amazing presentation. And I hope everyone reaches out. Tell them we sent you. Thank you again.
Are you looking for even more of the podcasts and hosts that you love? The Podcast Business News Network is proud to announce that you now have even more ways to listen live. Check out the MyTuner Radio, online radio box, and Simple Radio apps on iOS and Android, or find us online. Search for Business News Network on mytuner-radio.com, or search Podcast Business News Network on streama.com and onlineradiobox.com/US. Take your podcast on the go and don't miss a minute of the action.
Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
For nearly 2,000 severely injured veterans, everyday life has become filled with barriers.
Day-to-day simple tasks can become pretty daunting.
I have to carry my chair up 2 flights of steps or have somebody do it for me.
What scares me the most is just the falling.
When I'm struggling with my house, I think, to have that one great barrier just knocked down, it's crucial.
Home for Our Troops is a wonderful nonprofit that builds a
mortgage-free, fully adaptive, handicap-accessible house.
And there's no catch.
It'll be our very first home that we've ever owned. This is a game changer.
This is where your life begins again.
We need you to join us in completing this important mission. Please visit hfotusa.org and help build homes and rebuild lives.
Because of you, everything's going to be okay.